Tuition. I pay in-state tuition.
I pay in-state tuition.
I pay out-of-state tuition.
Out-of-state tuition.
I pay in-state tuition.
I pay out-of-state tuition.
I go to a private university, so everyone pays the same amount.
I do think the cost is too much for out-of-state. In fact, I'm originally from Nevada, and due to my ACT scores, I was able to receive an academic scholarship, which allowed me to pay in-state tuition. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to attend Oklahoma State University.
I do think that the difference in cost is too much. I mean, it's silly for people to have to pay twice or three times as much as in-state tuition simply because they live maybe an hour or two outside of state lines.
Yeah, because I pay twice as much as other kids who only live an hour away from me, but across state lines.
Well, the difference in cost is way too much because just because I'm paying to go to school out of state for the same education, I don't think I should be penalized. It should be the same all around or just a little bit higher, but it's like thousands of dollars of difference, like should not be like that.
Yes, I do think the difference is too much because I don't think it should cost almost double to go to an out-of-state school versus an in-state school.
I believe it is too much because I'm from Beaumont, Texas, which is only 3 hours away from Baton Rouge, and I pay 3 times as much as people who live in Louisiana.
I care about the cost of tuition because it involves my future. If I'm able to get an affordable education here, I will succeed in the real world later and still have money left over to do that with.
I understand why it is so much because keeping in-state tuition down drives in-state residents to attend Louisiana colleges and get their education here and then go into the Louisiana workforce. It encourages them to stay in-state instead of taking their education and leaving, because if we're spending money educating kids, we want them to stay in-state and use their knowledge.
Right now, I've taken out a lot of loans, and later it's going to impact me because unfortunately, the career that I've chosen is not one that's going to pay a lot of money. So it'll be really hard for me to cover the cost of my loans later when I'm making payments, and it'll make living on my own really difficult because I'll have such large loans to pay back.
It impacts me because once I get out of school, I don't want to be in too much debt. I'm paying for everything, working 40 hours a week. I also pay for my sorority, and that matters a lot.
I'm paying for my education on my own, so I have to take out a lot of loans, which will probably leave me in debt when I get out of school.
If I had to pay out-of-state tuition, I would be running 2 or 3 jobs trying to make ends meet. It would be very difficult if I had to pay out-of-state tuition. It definitely would have affected my choice. I had a lot of opportunities, or I could have taken a lot of opportunities to go to different universities instead of Oklahoma State. Just remain in Nevada, which the in-state tuition through my scholarship allowed me to be able to make this choice.
Tuition costs will not impact me financially or later because I have had money saved up for college, so I will not be in debt after I leave. The cost of tuition is important, and it is a factor that can either make or break someone's college career. I mean, it could drive people to not go to college. It could drive people to go to college. It's very important when you're considering where to go. So I think that it is an issue that does need to be talked about, and I understand how people can see out-of-state tuition as being too high.
Tuition.
I care about the cost of tuition because I'm paying for my own tuition.
I care about the cost of tuition because everyone deserves a higher education, and where you want to go to school should not be based on how much money it is and if you can afford it or not.